You're with one group of friends. You're loud, joking, talking without thinking. Then later that day, you meet someone else, and suddenly you're quieter, more careful with your words. Almost like a different version of you showed up. You notice it, but you brush it off. Everyone acts a little different around different people, but sometimes it feels deeper than that. Almost like your personality keeps shifting, and a quiet question appears in your mind. Which one is the real you? It happens in small moments. With some people, your thoughts come out easily. You interrupt. You laugh too loudly. With others, you measure every sentence. You reread messages before sending them. You soften your opinions. You avoid certain jokes. Sometimes you even leave a conversation thinking, why did I act like that? Not because you were pretending, but because the version of you in that moment felt unfamiliar. You might replay conversations later. The confident version of you from earlier suddenly feels distant, almost like it belonged to someone else. And that creates a strange tension. If your personality keeps changing, how do you know who you actually are? Here's the part most people never realize. Your brain does not have one fixed personality. It has multiple social modes. Different environments activate different parts of your identity. Your brain constantly asks one silent question. What version of me works best here? And it answers that question automatically, without asking your permission. Because socially, survival has always depended on fitting into the group. But something even more interesting is happening beneath the surface. Your brain isn't just adjusting behavior, it's adjusting who you feel like you are in that moment. Think of your personality less like a statue and more like a control panel. Different situations press different buttons. When you're with people who feel safe, your brain lowers threat detection. The amygdala relaxes. Your dopamine system becomes more active, so you talk freely, laugh louder, take social risks. But when you're around people who feel unpredictable, another system activates. Your brain shifts into social threat monitoring. You start scanning for reactions. You analyze facial expressions, tone, micro signals of judgment, so your behavior becomes more cautious. Not because you're fake, because your brain is trying to protect your social belonging, and belonging historically meant survival. But this creates a strange psychological illusion, because these different versions of you can feel so different. Your mind assumes one must be the real you, and the others are fake. But identity doesn't work that way. Your personality is actually a collection of potential selves, each one shaped by memory, past experiences, and emotional safety. Some environments unlock your confident self. Others unlock your observant self. Others bring out your careful self. The problem isn't that these versions exist. The problem is when you start judging them. When you think, I wish I was always like that version of me, but the brain was never designed to operate as one fixed identity. It was designed to adapt. Understanding this changes how you see yourself. 3 small mental shifts begin to happen. First, instead of asking, why am I different around them? You ask, what is my brain responding to here? Maybe it's safety, maybe status, maybe subtle tension. Second, you start noticing which environments unlock your natural energy. The people who make your thoughts flow easily. Your brain isn't working harder there. It's working with less fear. Third, you stop assuming confidence is something you either have or don't. Confidence is often just what happens when your threat detection system goes quiet. The same person can feel insecure in one room and effortlessly confident in another. Not because their personality changed, because their nervous system did. So the real insight is surprisingly simple. You don't have one personality. You have a range of behaviors, a range of energies, a range of identities waiting for the right environment. Some people shrink that range, others expand it. And slowly, you start recognizing something important. The question was never, which version of me is real? The better question is, where does the best version of me feel safe enough to appear? Because the person you become around someone often says less about who you are and more about how your brain feels in their presence. And sometimes the clearest way to understand yourself is simply noticing who allows you to feel the most like you.